Hi everyone. Welcome back to the Fat Lady Knits. Hmm. It's been a rough 3 weeks. Um, my mom is now an ancestor, and it is what it is. I can't change it. I wish I could. I had never realized how much time I spent with my mom and all the things we did together. I'm I don't like the fact that she's gone. And as I said, if there was anything I could do to change it, I would. But I am glad that her last day when she was fully herself was a good one because we went out, we had fun. She enjoyed herself at her favorite Japanese restaurant. And that to me is a blessing. Okay? Um, I thought that her funeral would be the hardest thing I would have to go through, but that it wasn't. I was so surprised. Um, and I guess you don't accept it as it's a great thing, but you understand that we're all going to make our exit one day. We all know how this ends. None of us are getting out of this alive. So it was good. I am glad she was here as long as she was and that we did have fun. And there were times we disagreed and we went at it. But it was good. It was good to have her. And I miss her. I really do. And it's so funny because we went out Wednesday and I didn't want to go out Wednesday because I was planning to take her out Friday. But it's a good thing I did because in my head, she died that Thursday. If they had not hooked her up to all those machines, she would have been gone. And I must commend my dad. I'd never seen it in him, but he was like, no, she would not like to be like this. Unplug all this stuff. Wow. I couldn't handle that, and he did. So it goes to show you no matter how much you think you know someone, you may not really. But now on to knitting. Two thoughts. Well, before knitting, how are you? Because I'm going on and on about me, but you have life too. And if you've experienced a loss, please accept my condolences because people have been really good in expressing that. And even though sometimes it feels like they've opened the wound again, you know that they really just mean well. But I hope that you have not experienced the loss, and I hope you've had fun knitting, crocheting, and everything else that you do. Which reminds me, I'm really thinking about changing the name of this to the Fat Lady Crafts because I've realized tomorrow's not promised to anyone. And when it comes to crafts, I want to do everything. I want to make a basket. I want to blow a glass. I want to embroider something. I want to do some cross stitch. But does it count if you only do one? Maybe I should hold off on the name change. But you know what I think I'll do? I started and I haven't continued is to label the episodes based on what I'm doing. So should I do a crocheting episode, call it crochet. If I do a knitting, call it knitting. If I do an embroidery, call it embroidery. And you know what? I think I'm going to leave the gap in my tooth. I just find it interesting. If ever I get tired of it, then I'll fill it in. But for right now, it's not a priority. Okay? Um, what have I been doing? Well, to save my sanity while my mom was in the hospital, because I was spending 6 and 7 hours there a day, um, I started beading. Well, let me go back. In July, when we had all those birthdays, I said to my mom, I'm taking a beading class. And do you have any beads I can use? Because I really don't want to go to Michael's and just buy beads because I'm not sure what the class will really entail. The lady came back with this big bag filled with other bags with beads. And um, Who knew she'd be an ancestor 3 weeks later? But I gotta say, I am so grateful that she gave me that bag with those bags of beads. Because one of the things I have done, let me take it off and show you, is begin to make necklaces. Look at this one. Yeah. Can you see that? Yeah. And this is from the beads that she gave me. Okay? And the class is called Beaded Wire Crochet Jewelry, I think. But that's what we're doing. And what is interesting, let me give you a close up. See, I use clear beads and yellow because I thought the clear would really offset the yellow, and they do. And this little dangly, that was when I first decided to try epoxy resin or resin epoxy, whichever it's called. And I wanted to do earrings. And I did this and I was like, oh, that's so boring. But I held on to it, and now it's like a little charm or dangle in the middle of this necklace. And you know what? Maybe I should do an episode, not this one, showing you how to do this. Because all this is, these are crochet chains. I did go on YouTube and I saw someone had a video, but I can make one at some future date because this was really fun. And this saved me because I was in the hospital for all those hours, and I decided to use the beads while I sat there and I talked to my mom. And it's really interesting because someone wanted to know, why was I spending so much time at the hospital if my mother was not awake? And I was like, are you kidding me? That's my mother. Do you know how many times she was awake with me when I was God knows what, sick, crying, being melodramatic? Come on. But this, I really like this. And I have some others over there, but when I do the episode on crocheting beaded necklaces, because you can turn this into earrings, you can make bracelets, anklets. I mean, it was really, really fun. Okay. And then I was like, okay, I need something else to distract myself. Let me get back to my knitting. And let me tell you, Blue, until yesterday, no, today, has been an absolute witch. Oh my God. Let me tell you. What did I do? Where is it? I decided, school has started. Nobody's socks are done. Let me get started. I went on to Blue and did some ribbing. Isn't this awful? I could not believe it. I was like, what the? I mean, dropping stitches all over. I was ready to throw her out the window. And then I calmed down and I went online to ask for help. Well, no, that's not what I did. I went online and I asked about the True Knit machine, because one of the things being said about it is that it doesn't drop. To my understanding, it doesn't drop ribbon stitches. People have confirmed it does not drop cylinder stitches. But oh boy, no one came on and said it didn't drop ribbon stitches. Folk got into it about whether or not it really drops stitches, and all machines drop stitches. They were going back and forth. I was like, excuse me, I'm asking about dropping ribbon stitches. I'm not here for y'all to get into disputes over whether this machine or that machine is better and doesn't. I was like, oh my goodness. So now I have another question about another machine, but I'm afraid to ask because I don't want to start trouble. I just want an honest answer. All people with the machine had to do was say yes or no. And I don't get into this machine is better than that machine. Listen, the best circular sock machine in the world is the one you have that works and you like it. That's the best circular sock machine. It doesn't matter who made it, it doesn't matter how old it is. As long as you like it and it's doing what you want it to do, that's the best circular sock machine in the world, regardless of what anybody else has. Okay? What did I do with my necklace? Ah, why did I hang it on the weight? No, I want to put this back on my neck because I really, really like it. I do. I really like it. As I said, Blue was being a witch. So, people offered help, and I did try a few things suggested. And when I did, I ended up with this. It did drop 2 stitches, and I had to latch them up. But compared to, I mean, how many is this? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 8 more drop stitches on this than on that one. So I'm getting there. Hopefully a little bit more tinkering and I can get to no drop ribbon stitches. I did not realize, you know how you know something but you don't think about it and you just keep going? The machine has moving parts. So as you work on it, things move. And you don't think of it. You're like, oh, I used it last time and it was fine. But maybe the yarn carrier has loosened or slipped a little bit and you need to lower it again. Maybe a ribbon needle is bent, or like one I found today, it was missing the latch entirely, so it will never make a stitch. Okay, so I think what I have to do is, before I start each pair of socks, I need to check and make sure the machine is in good working order. Okay, and then because this one, Blue dropped so many stitches. I was also in the hospital latching up stitches, and people were like, what kind of knitting is that? I was like, a slow one. I did this and I was so pleased because I was like, I'm on my way to making a sock for the Blue Princess. And she wanted it to be over the knee. When we tried it on, this was so tight. I thought we were going to have to rush her to the hospital. Had to hurry and take this off. I forgot again. This is Croy sock yarn. It's really thick. So even on a 72 cylinder, at the loosest I can rib, it's too tight. So I had to pull out my 96 cylinder with my 48 ribber, which is broken in how many places, but it still works. And that's how I got this. Now, 96 stitches, it's gotta, but once again, this is Croy sock yarn. This thing is thick, okay? And I tried to put Lycra in it, and while I wasn't looking, the Lycra broke, so there's no Lycra in this part. I will put Lycra in the foot part. One of my major concerns though right now is this is 96 stitches. When you 96 stitches flat, this is going to be too wide for the princess's foot. I did put Lycra in it, and I have to give it a blast of steam to see how much it will shrink. Okay, because I don't want the top of the sock to fit perfectly and then the bottom is too loose. That would be hilarious to me, but you know, teenagers, when they give you that look of, okay, old lady, what do you think you're doing? So this is where I am with this project. I have some other things going on, but I'm going to try and make it under my 15 minutes. Thank you for stopping by. I did miss you all in the midst of all that I was going through, and I'll catch you next week. Please have an awesome week and make. It is so much fun. Bye.